Did you know that at least 75% of bitches suffer from some kind of hearing loss? This alarming statistic means that more likely than not, talking isn't the most effective way to communicate with a bitch. That's when you have to hit her.
You're right, Rhonda. I'm not like the rest of you. I'm not wearing a mask. I mean, look at us. Tinfoil in our hair, gloss on our faces, high-heeled shoes. Why are we wearing these? We're already taller than the boys.
Welcome to another resounding episode of XYChronicles podcast. I am your host, King Tash.
Shanty.
And we have a special guest once again. You know it's the political episode.
Only time I come around.
I'm going to let him introduce himself.
He gone.
Yes, I'm going to let him introduce himself because you know how bad we are at actually introducing his podcast.
We got it right last time.
We got it right at the end. We got it right at the end.
So, I'm Gabe from, could I say the whole name or should I?
My mom.
So
we're
we gonna
in
do
the house episode today.
Yeah, so it's F word, that S word, the podcast. And thank you for having me a second time around.
We welcome the banter. Welcome it.
Welcome.
Yes. So we're going to start off, as we do every episode, with our current events. They're a doozy.
All right. Shake it. So we have a new president.
Elect.
Tentative.
Let me just say what I gotta say. And then we're gonna get
All right, okay.
I'm gonna break it down. We got a new president. Trump does not want to leave or acknowledge that he's no longer president. Georgia did a recount which states Biden is still president. A Republican reporter stated that Trump supporters she doesn't consider them Republicans, she considers them Trump supporters. And that Republicans during the Bush time...
It's going to be hard because I'm barely hearing you now. They're not going to be able to hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm like, they're not going to be able to hear you.
Now we're humans.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm hearing it and I'm like, ugh.
So, a Republican, she worked under Bush. She was, representative during Bush, stating that the Republicans that are under Trump are not really Republicans, they're just supporters of Trump, and how this is a different type of world that we're living in. That was a Republican that stated that. And,
wow.
Yeah, basically. And, what else are we at? COVID will be the next. But let's hit into Trump is president, Biden is elected, and Republicans that are Trump supporters and Republicans that are Republicans. Let's go.
You want to take it?
I'm going to sit back. Now, Curtis.
Everything we spoke about before.
Exactly.
She just made me strap on the suicide bomb for us now.
I'm like, wait, you want to take it?
I'm going to sit this one back.
So my outlook on Republicans versus Trump supporters is there's a smidge of that I can see in terms of traditional Republican values and norms.
Yeah.
So I can see where she would say, okay, part of that, these Trump supporters, some of them are delusional. Let's be honest. Some of them are delusional. They're drinking bleach. They're doing.
Well, one family did that. On record. I don't know who else did it.
Exactly.
But we got one family
that
on
family
record.
may have gotten sick and or died.
No, they did.
You don't know exactly. You don't know who but you don't know who did that and just went to the hospital. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so there's different cases for it. So I do believe there's blind supporters that don't understand the Republican agenda and what they're trying to do with the country. They're following Trump because of his fame and his notoriety and all of those things. So they're just voting for whatever this popular figure represents.
Yeah, I honestly feel Trump got as far as he got because he's a businessman. He knows how to
changed
talk.
the tax laws in D.C. He created new tax laws.
That's another thing I got out of it. Yeah. He literally knows how to talk. He knows how to. He's like what they said, a dictator. Like
he does. He's like a. I don't want to compare. I do not want to compare. I knew I was about to say it. I do compare him to Hitler in terms of. Have you ever read Mein Kampf?
Oh, so she is pregnant. Oh. Summer Walker.
Oh.
When she lied and said it was pudgy. Sorry. Let's go back to this.
We'll touch on that later. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Mein Kampf? It is actually a great great body of work. It is a great, it's a cohesive body of work. Who wrote it is a psychopath. But the actual...
Did you really just compare Donald Trump to a man who killed 6 million people?
That's why I said I was about it, because I don't think he's not
not even in the same library.
No, she's saying, I'm talking about being a dictator and being able to...
Give me one dictator trait that he has.
Trump does not like to be challenged in any way, shape, or form.
He doesn't like some of the Republicans
He does not like to be challenged. He does not tolerate being challenged.
He welcomes a challenge. You have to hold your own. There's a difference between somebody answering you with force and somebody answering you as a wuss.
If you're not following if you're not following what the people that you pay, the trained professionals that you're paying to advise you, if you're like, because it doesn't agree, if you don't agree.
We're talking with COVID?
We're talking COVID. We're talking COVID policy. Honestly, we're talking everything. Because
half of his staff on.
Thank you. Come on, the people that you hired.
Yeah.
The people that you hired.
No, he didn't hire half the people he fired. He inherited them.
He did not inherit what do you name? Fauci.
Exactly.
Oh, he can't stand him.
Fauci was inherited from 1984.
Right. Fauci.
You forgot? Oh, well, we'll wait for Fauci.
But Fauci actually like fame now. I don't know what's going on.
We'll wait for Fauci.
Because he's a liar. Because when all of this stuff came out...
Ask Fauci what he did during the HIV/AIDS in the 80s, and you'll know who Fauci is.
What did Reagan do during the AIDS epidemic?
You see, that's what I'm saying.
He wanted to lock up black men.
Hold on, I'm not talking about the...
So let's be real. They failed us all around.
We're not talking about president.
They failed us all around.
The only reason why Trump stands out is because the way that he is.
That's the only reason why he said...
is under a rock because of everything that they did.
Fauci has been around since the 80s, and the reason why Fauci is able to call the shots is because he has the right connections.
That's why Trump became president.
No, Trump became president because... Okay. You see what's going on now?
No, I'm listening.
All right.
Go ahead.
You see what's going on now with...
But you're here because we need different sides.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
It can't be one side.
So you see what's going on now with everybody calling voter fraud. I told the both of y'all off air, and I'll bring it on air, he did not win Pennsylvania. I know that for a fact. He did not flip Pennsylvania.
That sucks because isn't that his home state or some shit?
He was there for... It literally is on the books. He was there for 3 years when he was 0 years old to 3 years old, and then he moved to Delaware. So he's not from Pennsylvania. Scranton Joe is a name to be thrown.
He really thought that he was going to get it.
Throw it out the window, Scranton Joe. He's not from Pennsylvania. He's from Delaware. All right, that's number one. He did not flip on election night, regardless of what anybody says. Trump was winning everywhere. Everywhere. People in California said don't be surprised if Trump flips California. People in New York said don't be surprised if New York is closer than what it was.
He wasn't flipping New York.
I didn't say flip New York, I said flip California.
And this is Trump's home state.
Well, you know...
He wasn't flipping New York.
If most of your viewers are from New York, I'm sorry. A lot of New Yorkers are stupid. So, all I'm saying is that he was closer in New York than he should have been. Until we all went to sleep. Now, regardless of what anybody wants to say,
we still didn't have a president when we woke up. We still didn't have a president when we woke up.
This was the longest.
The votes,
it's like 5 days.
The votes all of a sudden came in. I remember waking up and I said, if Detroit, and this is good. It was the next morning.
I'm talking about when they called it. It was like the third. It was like the third, fourth day.
Saturday. It was a Saturday.
Yeah.
It was Detroit. It was Atlanta. It was Las Vegas. It was Milwaukee, and it was Atlanta. All 5 of those, all of a sudden, got ballots mailed in. Right at 4 a.m. All 5 of those at 2 a.m. said they're not counting anymore. If I told you,
stop counting. That's the law.
They all stopped counting. But this is what the news isn't telling you. Every one of those places that I just named stopped counting. They said we're not counting. We'll resume in the morning. When they resumed, Biden all of a sudden was closer than he was when we all went to sleep.
here's how that could work both sides, right? Now, if you're claiming election fraud, you have to claim it on both sides. Because if that's the case, no one knows. If you're hiding ballots, if this whole thing was they're hiding ballots, you don't know what those ballots were.
I do know if 130-something thousand ballots came in at 4 a.m. and 97% went to Biden, I'm going to question that.
I can see how you would question that.
If I'm telling you, hey, I'm at work, and I turn my phone off at 2 o'clock, but I call you at 7 o'clock. That was your phone off for 5 hours for. If you was at work, you was at work. You don't need to turn your phone off for. So why stop counting?
Right.
Why stop counting, and then why, when you start counting again, Biden is closer? Then all of a sudden, Biden is winning. Here's my problem. For 4 years, they said Russia helped Trump win, right? So why all of a sudden?
But they did find that they interfered. Not necessarily helped Trump win, but they did interfere in the election.
Popping up saying that how they were spies for Russia. So,
but that's what I'm saying. So they did interfere, but we don't know exactly to what extent.
It wasn't for Trump they interfered for. See,
well, they clearly did something wrong if it wasn't for Trump.
Well, here's the problem now.
They need to get fired.
This is what's going. It wasn't for Trump. Trump did it. Let me tell you something. It's like with Harvey Weinstein, right?
Oh.
I use him as an example. The first
That's
thing,
like the E word. That's like the Epstein word. Like
same thing.
Epstein kind of.
Well, Epstein got dirt on everybody. When Weinstein crossed the wrong person, all they needed was one, and they trashed him. You don't think if they had one thing on Trump with Russia, he would have been gone as president already?
There's a lot. I'm not saying the man's not smart. I'm not saying the man does not have a lot of.
I'm going with the voter. I'm going with me.
But he lost the popular vote. We can agree with that. That's a fact.
With Hillary,
he lost the popular
with Hillary,
vote.
whatever. He may have lost the popular vote because people don't know who Hillary Clinton really is. Booyah! You're not gonna have me now sit down and agree with you that Joe Biden got the most votes of all time in any other presidency when Barack Obama ran for president in 2008.
I want to go back to something that you stated. What did Trump do that was wrong, or whatever the case may be? So someone said, so wait, Trump passed a bill in 2017 where people who made under $75,000 will have their taxes raised in 2021, and every 2 years after that until 2025, right? 27, while the rich get richer, and y'all crying about Biden raising taxes for people who make over $400K.
Well, that entire statement is false. Your tax return, you may owe more money, but your weekly or your bi-weekly paychecks, you come home with more money. That's what Trump did. Trump took away the 1 year payment that everybody waits for and broke it up into everybody's paycheck. So
that's not 100% true. So that's not 100% true.
Yeah.
So he has, and I'm telling you from the experience, my taxes under Trump, from taken out from my paycheck, have raised. But if you make between, because they look at me as middle class. Anything under 100,000, they look at you as working class. Anything from 100,000 to 500,000 annually, they look at you as middle class. My direct taxes, since he has been president, have raised 15%. They have taken out 15% more. And I never got a tax refund in my life, just to let you know.
Well, I was gonna say,
but they're taking more from my taxes, and I've noticed it since in the past 2 years, because it takes years for tax.
It was
for the past 2 years.
The last 2 years, my tax returns has been garbage. My weekly paychecks have been better though.
No, that's the reverse for me. So I'm never get a refund, but my actual taxes that have been taken out of my check have been raised by 15%. I did the math from 4 years ago, because his tax laws don't go into effect until 2 years into his presidency anyway. So I calculated for the past 2 years, my taxes have definitely raised in my tax bracket. Now I've asked people like around that make the same amount, and their numbers are still the same. Whereas though people that make over 500,000, their taxes have decreased. Their tax liability has decreased. He's great for people that are doing small business.
But you know who made that law? To cut you off real quick, you know who made that law, right? That's Joe Biden and Barack Obama's law.
That's what I'm telling you.
All Trump did was tweak it.
But that's what I'm telling you. But with them, under Biden and Barack Obama, my taxes were sit even. They were flat, right? My taxes then raised the last 2 years. That's why I keep saying the last 2 years, because the first 2 years they were still Obama's. So the last 2 years, my taxes.
All he did was tweak that plan.
That tweak ain't working for me.
See, it's different because me and you, we work in fields. We're comfortable.
Right.
My weekly paychecks, I look at now and I'm like, well, you know what? I could get that extra cheeseburger now. Why the hell not? It ain't gonna hurt me no more. But I know in February comes around, I'm like, God damn. Uncle Sam want that cheeseburger
The
back.
crazy thing is, I'm paying more in taxes and I still gotta pay y'all at the end of the year.
All I'm saying
That's not fair. Like,
I tell a lot of people, because a lot of people, y'all are, my friends are the exception, because y'all know who I am, regardless of what political party I am. What I tell a lot of people is, unless you can rip off 5 things, I just want 5 things, right to be a tongue, boom, that Donald Trump's done that has affected you, I don't want to hear about it.
My money.
I mean, but that's what Republicans are about, right?
That's what
They're about money.
Honestly, when it comes to money, I'm very Republican. I'm not a Democrat.
When you sit down and you realize, and you put the two parties together, we're all Republican.
I've said
We're all Republican.
I've said that.
I don't want a handout. I don't want a government in my business.
Yeah.
I don't want you to tell me where I could go, how I could go, what I can go. I don't want you to tell me that unless I want this handout, my kid needs a flu shot.
Right.
Just give me an entry into the door and I'll take care of everything
I'm
else.
not gonna lie, the other day, especially with the vote thing, I really had to go to the definition of Democrat.
And Republican, right?
Because I was just like, what?
It has flip-flop because, you know, Republicans started off as the People's Party. That's Abe Lincoln and
No.
Republicans
The first
started off as
Republicans were 13 black people.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We started off
13 black people funded the Republican Party.
I don't know when it flipped.
Martin Luther King time is when it flipped.
But we started off as a people as
Republicans
because it made sense, because it was trying to build wealth in our community.
We were families.
That's exactly.
Yeah. We were God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give me, just put my foot into the door and I'll do everything else.
Yeah.
Now it turned into, hey, guess what? And this ain't a knock on any females out there. This is just how the Democrats did. Then it turned into, you don't have to have your foot in the door no more. We'll give you a paycheck. Just kick the dude out. Just hide him in the closet when we come around each month to see if he's living there. And then it turned into, well, I gotta work for something if you're gonna give me the handout. And the mindset kicked in.
And
if I can get a government handout
on the whole Democrat thing, because they're like, we're for families, we're for the environment, we're for, you know.
When they're not. That's all that is.
The only time we're gonna give you assistance is if the man is not there, so make it look like the man isn't there.
Make sure you hate men or else you don't get this paycheck every month. Make sure, you know what? We'll give you even an extra extended if you tell me you're gay. That way we can really push our agenda. Because now we know there's no men in the house.
But you understand that gay people hold large majority of the power in
there's the gay mafia,
society.
so let's just be
our whole
honest
society, gay people hold a huge. I feel like gay people are more powerful than any black person in our society.
If you notice now, all the black people that let's go back to when this campaign really started with Joe Biden and everything, right? When he selected Kamala and everything. It all started with Black Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter. We're gonna help the gay community.
I'm sorry.
Why do they now? You want to know why?
I feel like that supports a cultural divide. Because why are black trans people not just black people?
You want to know why I love the Republican Party? You're either with us or you're against us. I don't give a damn what skin color you are. I don't care where you came from.
There's too many different subsets.
I don't care what you want to do.
And that's why, and what upsets me, and it's something that you posted when it came
2 minutes before it cuts.
Okay. Real quick, you posted a poster with the stickers and everybody jumping around like monkeys when it came to the thing. I see that.
There's people dancing and handing out food, waiting to vote.
And it's not even about the fact of the stickers, because I felt this way when it happened with Obama. Yes, everybody, vote for him.
First time around, everybody.
I got stickers.
First time around,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And me personally, when I think deep into that, I watch these videos and stuff, I'm like, we the fool. Because I felt like they
put Obama there.
Just to say that, look,
Something happened.
look, y'all got
Something
black
happened.
Obama was.
But it was like a consolation.
Yeah,
it was like a
Obama.
consolation.
This is why I hate Obama with a passion. I hate this man. You were voted in as president by both black and whites, gay, straight, twice.
Wow. Okay.
I don't like that man.
Oh Lord. And we're back. And we're
That man did more harm to y'all than anybody.
we're still in politics.
Yeah, because I didn't get to, spew my voter fraud.
Your hatred.
But I won't even go into voter fraud, okay? I won't go there. I just say, if January 21st come around and it's Sleepy Joe and the hoe in the White House, I will vote.
And the hoe.
Oh, y'all don't know how Kamala got her start?
Oh God.
That's Willie Brown.
We're not doing this.
That's Willie Brown. Just ask
We don't
Willie
have
Brown.
enough time.
Ask Willie Brown.
Actually, bro. Well, right now, we need to get to why. Tell me about Obama, and then we're gonna go into COVID.
You telling me to tell you about Obama?
Well,
We were almost home free.
I'll make it quick.
jeez.
Obama did more harm to the black community than any racist president in U.S. history, because he gave y'all
You mean every other president?
basically.
Exactly.
Even though if we really want to get racist, Lyndon Johnson was horrible. The first motherfucker, George Washington, who was auctioning off slaves as president. And when everybody says Donald Trump is the most racist of all time, he was president auctioning off slaves. But Obama, he did more harm.
Honestly, I feel like the least racist president was Teddy Roosevelt, because he didn't even believe in owning slaves.
Well, I believe Abraham Lincoln was the least racist because they shot him
No,
in
he
the
only
head.
did, no. The only reason why, let's be honest,
Watching
the
him play.
only reason why Lincoln freed slaves was purely financial, because the Industrial Revolution was coming, and then the machines were going to do the work of the slaves. It was not because he didn't believe in slavery.
I ain't that mad at that.
Has nothing to do
That's
with
like me saying.
Yes, exactly. One has nothing
Look,
to do with.
that's like me saying going to Indeed to find a candidate or going to McDonald's, buying Costco's and picking up the Mexicans. Obviously, I'm gonna get the cheaper ones. Okay, let's just be honest with ourselves.
This is why he
But
signed the
yes, on a serious note, yes, I agree.
Because he didn't believe in slavery.
Or I give you JFK.
JFK was cool.
JFK was one of the most least.
He liked to fuck a bitch.
The most-
I was
He's
watching
cool.
the other day.
If Marilyn Monroe came to your hotel
I'ma
room,
suck your dick.
I'ma fuck Marilyn
And
Monroe.
it never got out to his wife because they was all. I think
Marilyn
the
Monroe
mob-
knew
His wife knew.
the mob killed him.
Yeah.
The mob killed him. The mob
Yeah.
killed him and go to
His
Jarvis.
wife knew that he was fucking.
And she didn't care
Majority of
because
them
I was
because
first
she's-
lady. But
Honestly, I wouldn't.
if we really want to go with most racist, don't even put Donald Trump in the top 5. Because I want to know how black people's been affected since he's been.
Honestly, what he did when it came to the Central Park 5, after that, I washed my hands.
All right, so the Central Park
Put
5.
out an ad.
So what about the crime bill?
What do you mean, what about it?
94 crime bill.
What about-
You're a president-elect.
Was
He
it
said-
started by Clinton though?
No, Biden backed it more than any other senator or governor.
Created. Donald Trump put out a ad.
He wasn't the only one.
Okay, but he's the only president.
We gotta look at
Like
He,
he's
no.
the president. You turned into the
At the
president.
time he did it, he was not the president. He was a skyscraper mogul of Manhattan. When Joe Biden
That
said
would put innocent black men in jail that ended up being the president. If we're gonna talk about one, we have to talk about the other.
Okay.
We cannot just.
he came out and apologized for that. Joe Biden, okay, tell me who said, well, I already gave the lead away. Who said this statement? Niggers with the hard ER need to go to school at midnight. That way when my daughter goes to school, it's not a racial jungle.
who said that.
Joe
On the
Biden.
record.
Joe Biden said it on the record. Joe Biden also said, if you look at every crime bill since 1986, you see one name at the top of every crime bill. Joseph R. Biden. He helped Reagan with the crack bill. He helped Clinton with the crime bill, the crack in the crime bill.
That's what I was reading up on, the crime bill.
The Patriot Act, when it said you can go into people's cell phones now without them knowing. Joe Biden was on every single one. Y'all just
he could be on every single one without.
You don't gloat about it, Tasha. If I was a part of the KKK. Most KKK members do not gloat that they're in the KKK until they got the hood on. Joe Biden was in front of the camera and let you know, I put niggas in jail. He said Barack Obama is the first black person who's clean, well-spoken, and articulate. That we could put a black man in front of the camera. His friggin' mouth.
I have to actually hear these interviews.
I will send it to you right after we're done.
That's actually.
Is that the nigga Big Shot one?
That's the Joe Biden on crime law.
Bingo! There you go.
No, I knew about the 94 crime law. I knew about the crime law.
You didn't hear about the one that he said my daughter needs to go to school and...
No, I did not.
That was Joe Biden.
I need to hear that.
I'm going to send you all of that. Now, I want you now to tell me something about Donald Trump that has nothing to do with the Central Park Five.
Bro, that was my biggest point of contention. Because there was no evidence that those boys raped that girl.
We weren't even...
No evidence.
All right. Besides that, we have white supremacists. None of them would have shown their face. None of them would have shown their face if Trump was.
He emboldened them.
He made them.
Do y'all know who's the leader of the KKK right now?
Who is it?
His name is something Spencer. You want to know who he voted for? He voted for Joe Biden. You want to know?
He said he voted for Joe Biden.
You want to know why he voted for Joe Biden? Because
I need to see his ballot.
You want to know?
I need to know. I'm sorry. I don't believe nothing that come out of these people's mouths. I need to see his ballot.
Okay, so the original KKK leader that Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton gave the eulogy for, what happened there? There's a picture of Joe Biden holding the guy's hand in Midtown Manhattan.
We gotta look into
right.
Joe Biden gave the eulogy to the original KKK creator with Hillary Clinton in 2012.
I'm not going
under Obama.
Something that I haven't read, so I have to take it for face value. But I have to actually sit and read it.
And I'm going to share it with her. My problem is when everybody bashes Trump as this big time racist.
No, he
you
is
just
racist.
elected the most racist president.
Hold on, you just have examples of people who are either in his class or maybe a little bit above him, but that doesn't take away from his racism. That doesn't change who he is as a person.
All of them is racist, but they have to show face to get up there to be a part of something.
Exactly, but that doesn't take away.
It
doesn't take away from Trump's racism. That's what I'm saying.
But this is where
them are racist.
Of course they are. There's a lesser of two evils. I knew that.
This is where, well, if you wanted the lesser of two evils, you would have picked Trump.
No, I tell you, my taxes are
If you would have picked lesser of two evils, I showed you the picture of Joe Biden grabbing a freaking toddler's dick. I showed you that. If you wanted the lesser of two evils,
parents need to make sure their kids not around any and everybody.
There's somebody
gotta hold the parents responsible for
that's the same thing that I'm saying. It's just like if they know how he is,
right? What you putting your kids out there for?
Because that's not the first picture that came out.
Exactly,
girls,
multiple
that stand in front of them and he kissing them and doing
I want one video of Donald Trump walking up to somebody going like this.
Exactly.
Just sniffing them.
Where are the parents?
Right there.
Like this whole Wayfair thing. Where are the parents?
Nobody's ever going to be able to hold a conversation with me, other than this panel, that ever says I picked the lesser of two evils and you tell me you picked the pedophile. You are never going to tell me you picked the lesser of two evils and your lesser of two evils is a pedophile. You're never going to win an argument.
Well, are you saying that Donald Trump's not a pedophile?
I need proof. I got proof of Joe Biden. I showed her proof when we walked in.
Did you watch the Jeffrey Epstein documentary?
On Netflix, that's owned by Barack Obama and Susan Rice, who was the Secretary of State, that they can manipulate anything they want.
That's not the only Epstein documentary.
I don't.
Let me explain to you. The Key Largo estate was the biggest friggin' brothel for underage girls. That is not debatable. That Key Largo estate was a breeding ground.
So could we talk about
underage teenage girls?
Could we talk about 2006? That's an open public file for everybody to Google. You can Google this. This hasn't been banned yet. That you can Google what happened when Donald Trump found out Jeffrey Epstein was staying at one of his hotels.
You know how many times Jeffrey Epstein stayed at Key Largo? You know how many times Jeffrey Epstein stayed at Trump Plaza? Let's not do that.
Of course he mentioned Trump.
Just because he wants to distance himself
Trump was the only one who went on record saying I'll testify against him. So of course, who do you go after now? The one guy who said he's going to testify against you. If I badmouth you more than anybody else, who are you going to use as? Well, you know, he was doing it too.
But he was.
Who? Trump. I tell anybody.
All right, we need to wrap this up.
Yeah, because I want to talk about Fauci podcast. I want to talk about Fauci podcast.
How we get to that? Oh,
I feel like this is
He's a masterpiece of carpet.
I feel like this is the year where politics will never end because this is a whole type of
I want this year to end so bad.
I feel like this is the year that everybody needs to be able to have a conversation. The difference between us and other people, we can talk, walk away, hug each other, call it a day. Mm-hmm. Some people might listen to me and say, oh, fuck him, he's a Trump supporter, and not want to hear me out. We can hear each other out. You can tell me Donald Trump sucks, and I can tell you why he doesn't suck, but at the end of the day, fuck him either way.
Exactly.
He ain't helping me. I don't know the nigga's number. I don't know him personally. Fuck him. He's just a public view. That's the same way you like the Cowboys, I like the Giants. It don't affect my life either way.
Are you in there? Are you not? Are we doing SS now?
Oh!
wow.
He thought
No,
it was
you gotta move the seat. Look at the seat. Look at the seat. You gotta move the couch, the cushion over.
Keep
Let's
that
put
in.
right?
You need stuff like that.
Yeah. All I saw was a blue flake come out in there.
That's what makes the audience.
And we are back.
Yes!
Yes, that'll be on the Be Real side of XYChronicles podcast. So we're gonna go into our coveted SS section, and these two are. Okay. These two are, they hit a nerve. The first one hits a nerve. Trigger warning. The second one is the typical fuckery that we get on with. Let's go. It's the normal fuckery. Alright, here's my situation. I've been dating a great man for 7 to 8 months. About a month ago, someone close to him passed away due to COVID-19. Since then, he has mostly shut down towards me. I have been as supportive as possible with my very limited adult experience of loss and grief. I really care about him and understand what he's going through, but I'm struggling with the lack of everything. Quality time, sex, emotional output. Any advice on how to handle a grieving loved one?
So,
Advice.
I'll take this one first because I legit lived through this. So, I had lost close to me, like my best friend, like best friend, right hip. I found out that she was sick on a Friday night. By that Saturday morning, she was dead. I was dating somebody during the time that before that phone call, everything was perfect. Perfect. To this day, I can never badmouth her because everything was perfect. But once my best friend passed away, everything changed. Nothing to do with her. She was there. She tried to call me. She tried to just text. She gave me my space. But when a loss hits you out of nowhere, like COVID-19, because this shit came out of nowhere, like we ended the last segment, you heard me say what I said on the last segment. When it comes out of nowhere, it takes a while. Now, this was a female talking about a male. Mm-hmm. When I can't speak for all males, so I'm not going to. So I'll just speak for myself. I know how to deal with death. I grew up in a West Indian family / Hispanic family. They let you know everybody's gonna die. It is what it is. You live with it. I had a family member die from cancer before. Difference is I knew they were already sick. This one hit me different because I didn't see it coming. So to that female in the situation, I don't know what to tell you other than if you really care for the person to stick around, don't press too hard. Because with my situation, I'm not gonna say she pressed too hard because she didn't. Mm-hmm. She gave me my space. But my life got thrown in such a whack that I didn't want to deal with nobody. My son didn't matter to me, work didn't matter to me. Of course the relationship isn't gonna matter to me, because if those two things don't matter, then a relationship is the last thing when you flip your mind. So all I say, if it's worth it to you, patience. But at the same time, like I told in my situation, you don't have to wait for me because I don't know what's gonna happen because I wasn't expecting this.
And I feel that wasn't selfish of you. I feel like sometimes when people go through grief, we kind of think one-sided on why am I not getting this from this person? Why this person not? But we need to start realizing that that person needs their time. We need to separate our mind of thinking, you know, like they need their time, they need to cope. We don't know how they feel, the relationship, whatever the case may be. We need to let them be. And some people aren't able to do that because they feel like, what about me?
Especially if it's 7-8 months.
Yeah.
That you just had consistent and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing with me. It was, we hit the ground running, everything was perfect, then all of a sudden, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So I can see from that point of view, like, well, what the hell happened to you? But at the same time, I don't know what happened to me. Right. So you need to see that from my point of view. I don't know.
Right.
So just let me do what I gotta do or live your life. Now, this guy, he has a choice to make. Either be selfish in a way that you let her know, I gotta take care of me right now. Or you can be an asshole and just drag her along. Me, I was selfish. I said, I can't do this. Live your life. I'm going to get over it when I get over it.
But then you didn't know how to deal with that. Many people don't know how to deal with grief and disappointment
yes.
and stuff like that.
And that's why it's not fair to drag the female along. Yeah. Just let her know. If you want to stick around with me, I don't know when this is going to be over. But if you don't, go live.
I feel on the female side, we're always trying to be there and always trying to comfort and want to know what's wrong so we could fix it. So it's not so easy to see somebody that we're with, that we care about, go through something and just leave that. And
if you have an even decent female, right, she's going to care about your pain. Yeah. She's going to try to help you in any way she can go through that hurt and not feel alone. Okay? Now, if you have an above average female, she is going to literally do flips and tricks and try to make the pain go away in any way that she can. Now, if you're literally fighting her, and if you're like, listen, I don't know how I feel, I just don't want to be around you, I don't want to talk to you right now, whatever the case may be, that's hurtful to any human being. You would be hurt if you tried to be that for somebody or whatever the case may be. So you have to sometimes put yourself in other people's shoes, and I think we don't do that enough. We don't do that enough.
Nobody thinks of the next person. Yeah, it's a dog-eat-dog world. I tell people this, the world right now is like the hungry hippo game. How many fucking balls can I take that you don't get on your side? Mm-hmm. That's all it is right now. Yeah. Me, I was mature enough to know I cannot hold you hostage. Right. Live your life. But there's people out there that goes, well, you're staying here until I figure it out. And that's when you fuck up.
That's not fair.
That's when you're fucked up.
Because you're altering someone else's life. They literally don't have any control over it because they like you. Before all of this happened, they're like, we going good. Life is great. We're building. We're doing something. And then boom, this happens. They still have that memory, the muscle memory of this is what we used to do on a daily basis. We used to speak to each other throughout the day. We used to text each other. Whatever. Stop. Right. And you
don't give them the respect.
Yeah,
but you know what? Respect means. I said this the other day, respect and common sense died. Put it to the grave in 2020. Respect and common sense died.
2020 sucked.
2020 completely buried common sense and completely buried respect. The problem is a lot of y'all don't respect your counterpart. It's so easy to fuck somebody. It's so easy to go to dinner with somebody. But why is it so hard to respect somebody? Give them the goddamn respect to let them know.
That's interesting.
I cannot do this right now.
It takes nothing out of you to do that. To fuck somebody or go out with them or to tell them whatever you think they want to hear, but to be genuine, that takes a lot.
Which makes sense, which goes back to what you said is the dog world out here.
All it is, I'm in the dumps, so you gonna come in the dumps with me. But I won't tell you that you're in the dumps with me. I'm just gonna fuck your day up. So the female, from a guy's point of view who went through it, you're gonna have to eventually say to yourself, that person wasn't close to me, they didn't die to me. they died to you. So I have no emotional connect to that person.
Right.
It's to you. So if you feel that person ain't giving you what you deserve, walk the fuck on. Because you didn't kill that person. You ain't contribute to that person dying.
It's not on you.
It ain't on you.
Okay. It's not on you. And you have to value your peace above all.
That is very
I
because
don't think a lot of people do that.
Because a lot of people
I don't think a lot of
And when
people
you
do that.
really
Christ,
do
a lot of
that,
people
you
don't.
see
You,
so much.
Yeah, you have to value your peace above all. Yes, you do care for this person. Yes, you do want to alleviate pain from this person. Yes, you just want to try and fix it. As a woman, you want to try and fix it, especially if you have love for this person or deep feelings for this person. But you have to value your peace because at the end of the day, that person is going to do what makes them happy. That person is going to protect their peace. You have to then be responsible for yours.
And I think we
so
fail
don't
at that. We fail
Yep.
at
Don't
that.
lose yourself
Emotion.
trying to be
Yeah.
there for
Do
somebody.
not love somebody hard enough that you forget who you are.
Boy,
Yes.
Don't do it.
That is
women,
the key.
Don't do it.
That is the key.
I listen to so many women talk about that. I'm just like, yo, you cannot forget who you were before this person slipped in your
Hell
inbox.
yeah.
You
At
can't.
the end of the day, when he's ready to leave and go on, you're stuck there.
Yep.
In his
handling his scars.
Yes.
Like handling his scars.
And you lost who you were.
Exactly. It's
Never lose your peace. If anything this year taught you being by yourself for 6 months when everybody was home, you were at peace. Do not allow nobody to take your peace. I don't care if it was his mother that died from COVID. You didn't contribute to that
You
death.
shouldn't be taking it out on you.
Do not lose your peace at all.
I mean, that's really what you got for it.
I don't like talking about death.
I mean, I have
Nobody
one.
likes talking about
That's not my topic of.
nobody chooses. Like, you know what? Death. That's it.
That's
I was in a relationship.
Y'all ready for the topic? I was like, no, death. Let's go with that one.
Hold on, she got one.
I was in a relationship where his mom was sick, she died, and he had to go back home to bury her. And during that time, I was going back and forth trying to get his visa for him to, help him out to go bury his mother and everything like that. But then it started to become verbally abusive.
Overwhelming. Yeah.
That anger
Yeah.
of what was going on and the stress started to come out, and it kind of got to the point where it's just like, am I gonna keep? Are you okay?
Dealing with it,
Am I-
yeah,
like,
taking
what
it,
can I do?
yeah.
Or am I really just gonna step away? And when I stepped away, that's when after he realized, like, damn, like, this is the person that was helping me. And I fucked it
This
up.
person was looking out for me.
Yeah.
Well, those kind of people I don't feel bad for.
Yeah.
We're all old enough to know somebody who's trying to help you.
Something.
Right.
And we're all
That.
fuck off. We're old enough to know you're not stupid.
Yeah.
Even a baby knows this is a person who's not
probably
around here all the
it's
time.
positive,
This is
yeah.
mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
Even a baby knows.
Probably he did know that. It was just knowing
So he
how
was
I
so
was
wrapped
and was
up.
taking
He was
advantage
so
of it.
he was so
To
wrapped
hell
up in
with
what
it.
you could do for him.
Yeah.
And didn't really
No.
took advantage of the situation.
that's what-
And that's the
what it
problem.
is.
It's
Take
the
advantage of
dog
the
eat dog
situation.
world.
Yeah.
How can I get more points for
That's
me
hurtful. That's
than for you?
hurtful.
Yeah.
That's why when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's like, to hell with you. I don't care who died from you. If you now use it as ammo to fuck somebody else's life up, you deserve all the grief you have.
Yeah.
My main thing was, you didn't do this to me. So go. I'll deal with it on my own.
And then he got locked up.
Well, then there you go.
And then it was back on me, like, what is Chantal gonna do? And I just looked at it, I was like, nope.
There you go.
That's not your responsibility.
There you go.
But guess what? I was the only person he had.
That got nothing to do with you at that
And
point.
that's what just taught him the lesson.
That's when
I just got a twitch. We gonna get off this topic.
the main,
I just got a
you
twitch.
don't burn a bridge. God, your grandmother taught you that.
Yeah.
You don't burn bridges.
No, I burn bridges all the time.
Well, if you could build your bridge back, then that's one thing. Like
You
me,
just get a new city.
Well,
You burn a bridge, you just get a whole new city. Just alright.
I don't mind burning bridges because I don't care. I
don't be caring.
There's a movie Heat where Robert De Niro, Al Pacino,
Yeah.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
There's a famous line he said: "Never get too attached to something that you can't leave in 30 seconds or less." Now, he didn't literally mean 30.
I made humans. I kind of like them.
But he didn't mean 30 seconds or less. But there's a thing to be learned in that. Do not get attached to anything that you can't say at the end of the day, I don't need this shit right now. Unless it's your kids.
Like,
you need your kids.
That's a dangerous thing.
That is, because if you're too then you don't have any real connection.
But I feel you could still have a connection at the end of the day. Remember who you are.
You can, but you still can't walk. Think about it. You're a wife. You can't walk away from her for 30 seconds or less. You gotta sit and think, damn, do I really wanna, that's an attachment, that's a bond that you create.
It's a bond you create, but at the same time, you gotta say to yourself, my grandfather's weird. My grandfather's still alive. My mother's side of the family, grandfather, grandmother dead. My father's side of the family, grandfather's alive. He always taught me, you come here by yourself, you leave here by yourself.
Which is true.
There is nothing permanent.
But in between, you build your life, you build your memories, you leave a legacy.
That's a fact. But when you start, this is like a situation that I just had that I told y'all off camera. When someone else's life starts affecting me emotionally and I had nothing to do with it, that's when I now have to distance myself.
That's when you're dealing with a selfish person.
When your life that has nothing to do with me affects me, I now have to distance myself. And I think that's the best advice I can give you.
Yeah.
If it has nothing to do with you, but it's starting to affect your day-to-day life,
your mood and
you gotta separate yourself.
That's valid. That's actually a really solid piece of advice, honestly. And it ties in, it brings it full circle. If he is so wrapped up in him and what's going on with him that he cannot see the value that you're bringing to the situation and how you're trying to help him and how you're trying to see him through it, he doesn't deserve you.
Bingo.
He needs to then go through it by himself because clearly that's his comfort zone. And do not ever, ever, ever try to impede or change someone's directive, narrative, and or their comfort zone, because you're going to end up getting wrapped in to something that has nothing to do with you. You're going to lose yourself trying to save somebody else. It's not going to work.
It never works.
Okay. This is the one that you thought somebody... Okay, here's my situation. We're back.
It just
here's my situation. I see it's not me. I swear to God, it's not me. I just left my husband of 3 years. In that time, I've reconnected with someone I've had dealings with since I was a teenager. He loves me. He trusts me. I do have love for him, and I enjoy our time together. However, I can't fully let go and let it happen because I can't get past the fact that it's only been about 3 months since I separated from my husband. This man is perfect in every sense of the word. I trust him. I have love for him. He's an amazing father to his son. He's hardworking. He smells amazing. And he's very easy on the eyes. Not to mention my family already knows and loves him.
Put some cologne on, fellas. Come on, man. Weed is not a cologne. Go ahead.
How do I get past being scared because of the timing? Please share your thoughts.
I'm gonna go real quick.
Go ahead.
It sounds like this motherfucker from your teenage years has been around the whole time. So stop bullshitting.
No, it could be that deep of a connection. Trust me. It could be that deep of a connection that in a short period of time, you're like, ooh, this man is giving me everything.
This also is kind of close to home. I have someone who was my first, who was close to me since I was 14 years old. She wasn't around that long for my family to be that comfortable with her if I was married to somebody from 3 years. That means you was with the person before that. This person been around for a while. Stop bullshitting.
No, because if that was the case, if the person has been around, then she would have let it happen a long time ago from week one.
Now, there was a reason why.
Exactly.
There's a reason why it didn't happen from teenage years.
That's what I'm saying. You have childhood friends. Like, oh, okay, you know. But then they have. I feel like there's something that is missing, as always. That
I don't never give full story.
Yeah, because you just don't keep a childhood friend around that long.
It never give full story.
If it wasn't physical, you guys have to keep up that emotional connection to get to this point, to be comfortable enough to be like, all right.
I think it was more emotional. Because physical, you could drop away. I think it was more emotional.
It's an emotional connection that kept up. And that's why it was so easy for her after 3 months of leaving her husband to end up.
Yeah. And also, how bad of a breakup matters. because if she was traumatized from that breakup to where her husband did her dirty.
But did she say it was a good relationship with the husband or no?
No,
She
she
just-
said I've reconciled, I've reconnected with someone I've dated. She didn't say how bad the breakup was.
I feel if it was bad, she would have let it be known. You don't never leave out the grief.
Yes.
You always leave out the good parts and the sunshine, but you don't never leave out the grief.
How horrible it was.
You never leave that part out. So this motherfucker from your teenage years has been there, be honest with the world. He's been in your inbox and your phone for a long time. You ain't fooling nobody over here.
Honestly, let me not hold you. A friend of mine broke up with her child's father that she was with for years. The next day, somebody hopped in her inbox randomly and she didn't think anything of it. They just having a conversation or whatever. They ended up dating and being together and happy and all of the above. But she wasn't looking for anybody.
But how was the inbox open the day after?
No, not even that. He jumped in her inbox. But
how was the inbox open? It just happened. What?
No, honestly, sometimes you want a distraction.
Let me tell you something.
You wanted exactly.
That door was cracked. It was somebody just said.
From experience, sometimes you want a distraction. Exactly. Sometimes you go through a traumatizing thing where you're like, I don't even want to think about it no more.
That's true.
All right, boom. Your inbox is open. Just not for nothing serious.
You know what? I won't call it dangerous, but after my recent, I definitely was like, I'm gonna try the online dating shit and see what happens.
You don't understand. I was on apps.
If there's any white people out there, black is for blacks.
No, you don't.
It's in the name.
I had to take it off of black. It was too overwhelming.
It's
like
too
I'm
many
waking up
people
to like 30. Boy, I matched with somebody that I worked with like 10 years ago.
I matched with somebody that I went to junior high school with that I have on Instagram.
Yeah, I deleted
Couldn't you just slid in the Instagram DM? You clicked yes on black.
She didn't know you were dating.
Oh my God, that's when I said
black.
Yeah,
black is a great app if you're looking to just casually date. It's too much flooded at once.
It's
too much flooded. I woke up to I woke up to like 30 messages one time, and then I just deleted the app. I'm like, no. I can't get to know all these personalities at once.
Well, that's online dating. That's online dating.
I can't.
That's online.
It wasn't for me.
I had one chick hit me up. She just straight said, "How tall are you?" And I was like, "Unmatched."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
I had another chick hit me up. Was like, "What you do for work?" Unmatched. I said, "Okay." This is why I didn't want to do online dating.
This is the problem. It was, what do you really want out of a relationship? 90% of the time, they just want to fuck. Okay, this website's not for me. This app is not for me.
Go to Tinder.
Exactly. This app is not for me.
Even though Tinder don't work either. I don't know how people get lucky on Tinder. I've never been on Tinder.
I didn't even try it.
I never got lucky.
My homeboy told me what he used Tinder for. He told me what he used Tinder for, and I was like, Tinder's not funny.
It don't work. I've been on Tinder. I'm like, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. When did Tinder become a dating app? When I decided to download it?
My homie, he be running through girls on Tinder.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
How the fuck everybody keep this? I keep getting the ones that want a husband.
He was running through girls. It was
one of my best friends. He literally was like, I've been finding girls on Tinder. I met this girl on Tinder. We hooked up. Never spoke to her again. Like, he just be living his life.
Bullshit.
And he's a vegan chef. Like, he's not doing anything extra.
How close is this homeboy to you?
That's scary though.
How close? You say your homeboy?
Yeah, we've been friends since I was 11.
Oh, I can't badmouth you. Once you said vegan chef, I don't know what part of Tinder you on. Vegan chef.
No, he's ran through a couple of my homegirls.
The vegan chef in the bio on Tinder though? I feel like a girl gonna sweat.
A girl will sweat you, but a man is gonna look at you like I can't judge you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I can't judge you for a vegan chef.
Man gets vagina.
He don't want your penis.
You know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna false claim vegan.
No, vegan
vagina.
I'm gonna false claim
vegan. You can't say I'm a vegan chef.
This nigga drips bitches. Do you?
Because he said vegan chef,
and he's built. So he's muscular.
Okay, I'm muscular, but
you're not a vegan chef.
Man, fuck y'all with the vegan chef thing.
Nah, vegan, I don't think you're underestimating.
Exactly, I'm telling you.
Chef.
Pussy.
You can make her healthier.
Yeah, you can make her skinny, and you can work out with her.
You can just make
Like, good old American cow.
But look at it. That's literally the perfect dude to most girls. He's gonna force you to get healthier. He's gonna force you to get fit and work out with him.
He's gonna lift her up.
He knows how to cook, and he can lift you up during sex. What more do you need?
I could lift a chick up during sex with
more do you
fucking
need?
T-bone
But you
steak.
can't get her healthier.
I can get you healthy. Just fucking go to the gym after you eat the steak.
Oh my
You're
god.
gonna make her fatter.
Exactly.
Not if you're going to the gym the next day.
Yeah.
Are you going to the gym with her?
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, I'm going to the gym. If you follow along, that's on you.
No. See, no.
I'm guaranteed I'm going to. I'm guaranteeing I'm going to the gym. If you choose to go after work, that's on you.
He's getting lazy and icy.
You know what, man?
All that heavy meat. All that heavy meat. Exactly. Vegan.
You gotta eat it at 4 o'clock. That's why. If you eating a steak at 7, you did it to yourself. Eat it at 4.
Hence the reason why Tinder didn't work.
If you're gonna eat red meat, you gotta have an off day. That way you cook it at 2, you eat your dinner, you digest by 4, and you're good to go.
Your pictures would probably have bad lighting. You need good lighting in your profile pictures.
I could Facetune your pictures. I could fix them.
I'm not gonna do all that bullshit.
Let's go back to the lady, please.
Yeah, the lady, you full of shit. This nigga's been in your life the whole time behind your husband's back. That's my.
No, because then she would have got it long time. If it was
How
behind
we
the
know?
other-
I feel she was getting it during.
No, Jen, she wouldn't. What she calling us for then? Like, what if she got it from before? I point like to hit us up anonymously.
They've been talking.
He's been there. He's been there.
He's been there. And I feel like people don't understand emotional connection is
It's
more.
key.
It's you gotta watch out for that more than the physical, because you could fuck whoever you want.
Anybody at the end.
And then at the end of the day, if there's an emotional connection, that's when you're in trouble.
It's something about somebody who makes you just. It's something. This is how I know I like a chick. It's something about a shorty that makes you want to be on the phone. It's one thing to text. It's a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing to want to listen to somebody's voice on the phone conversation.
You're not lying. That's the only way I know I like a person, because I'm not a phone person. You can text me all day.
All day long.
Yeah, let's start this. Let's start this, because I got some shit to say. Let me check my fantasy team while we.
No. Don't go fantasy. I got a sour taste in my mouth for fantasy. I'll do fantasy.
Remember last year, I don't even know if you know. Hey, we're back. And we are going to go to our coveted sports.
Fuck you, fantasy football players.
I coming from the number 2 squad from last year in my fantasy league to dropping to number 8 because of injuries.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not the happiest camper but I'm trending in the right direction. I've won. No, I was 12. I was 12.
Yeah, but the Thanksgiving games are coming around. Fantasy's almost over.
I'm telling you, it's strong.
Oh no! They extended the playoff bracket.
Exactly.
Oh, you might get lucky.
Yo, literally, my teams are trending up. I went from having a projected weekly score of like 89 to now I'm at 120, 130. I won my last 3 games. Life is looking good. I got spoiled last year. That's what happened. I got spoiled because I went undefeated for the longest streak. I went undefeated for 8.
You cheated.
No, I did. I swear to God, I did.
Nobody goes undefeated in fantasy
I
football.
went from undefeated 8. No, honestly, football won.
Who's your
last
starting quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers.
That's why.
And then he hit me with that 42-point game.
There you go. Then they go like 13-3.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Aaron Rodgers saved me. And then I had New England's defense last year.
The best they've ever been.
Exactly.
Even though their offense was horrible, it was the best defense.
New England's defense was giving me more points than my running backs and wide receivers. And defense usually give you like 2.
You had Aaron Rodgers starting at 13-3.
42
and you had
points. Let's ignore that. 40.
And you had the New England defense, the best Bill Belichick's ever had.
Yes. I drafted very well last year. This year it went on auto draft because when we were doing the draft, I was in an area that didn't have service. My service was going in and out.
Oh fuck your league, that's messed up.
Bruh.
Whose fault is that?
Talk to Robert.
It's the league.
It's the league. It went on auto draft. Like, what you want me to do? I literally.
That's why
I'm working with. I'm working with the team that I got. Like, I got some people off the waiver wire. Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson.
Oh, the worst offense he's had
No,
since he's been.
but he's doing numbers. He's giving me 20 plus every single.
With who? Will Fuller?
He's giving me 20 plus. So he's not throwing a Randall Cobb, which is my bench quarterback. I mean my bench quarterback. My bench wide
That's a real
receiver.
flex right there.
Right? Yes. No, he's definitely a flex player. He's not throwing much to Randall Cobb or whatever, so that really doesn't do much. But his hits are actually connecting. So with that being said, he's actually giving me numbers. He hasn't given me anything less than a 20-point week. So
that's amazing because
I'm good with that.
The Houston Texans suck.
Yeah, no.
So the fact that he's giving you decent numbers,
he's giving me numbers. He's definitely giving me numbers. I respect it. I'm praying that
that's not bad.
I can exactly because right now I am number 5 on my division, but I'm number 8 in the league. So if I can get up to like 2 or 3 in my division, I'll be good. I'll be a good little wild card player.
I've been sick of fantasy football for the last like 3 years.
Bro.
Every year I played, I finished 8th.
What?
1 year, I got to the Super Bowl and lost. And then I was like,
How
I'll never do this again.
The last
I was doing really good that year too, right? And then I started doing terrible. I kind of like sneaked it. I sneaked my way through, and I ended up just somehow in the Super
How you
Bowl.
end up at 8? How do you get from 1 to 2 and end up at 8?
God was on my side, and then
God clearly wasn't on your side when you was sliding.
I slid into the Super Bowl. Though. They was tight. It was like, yo, like I had the best team all year. How am I on the Super Bowl? And now I'm sitting in the back like,
You know what?
and I still.
You know what's bad? You know what's bad? When you get to the Super Bowl and you lose to your baby father.
I don't think we'll know how that feels.
Switch it. I don't care. Baby father, switch it.
I know what that feels like.
But literally, that's what happened. We were 1 and 2. We made it to the Super Bowl, and he beat me, and I wanted to throw a brick in his head. But
You ever seen the TV show The League?
That show's mad funny.
All right, you need to watch The League on Hulu. So basically,
It's funny.
it's a husband and all his friends from childhood that went to high school, went to college together, and now they're just grown assholes. And they love fantasy football. So then his wife started realizing, I'm actually pretty good at this if I wanted to. So
I would do that.
the wife and the husband started going at each other.
I would do
that
it.
The
Oh,
friends
I
were like,
would
hold
do
on,
that.
she's better than you.
I would do that. I literally, he won by 1
No, you
point.
need to watch that show. It's on Hulu. It's free and it's hilarious.
Nah,
You gotta watch that show.
Next year, I'm gonna make sure on draft day I'm in an area that has no Wi-Fi issues, no service issues, and I'm gonna bust his ass next year.
3 years ago, I decided I'm gonna take fantasy football serious. I put my deposit in. I did DraftKings. What was the other one? It was DraftKings and another
FanDuel?
FanDuel. I did both of them. I said, all right, bet. I drafted like a jackass my entire Oakland Raider team.
Why?
As
You
if
don't
it was
ever do
Madden.
one team. Why would you ever
I
do one team?
drafted the quarterback, the running back, the tight end, the wide receiver.
You look for that. You look for that.
You wanted to lose.
You look for that. No, you never draft just
After
one team.
week one.
Never. Exactly. You never draft just
Hey,
one team.
whoa.
I've got about 12 different teams.
I drafted the entire Raider team as if it was
That's when you fuck
Madden
up.
video game.
You fuck up.
By week 4, Derek Carr broke his arm. Darren McFadden broke his ACL.
Never,
and I said, what the hell was I thinking this year?
Never draft just one team. That's what Kadeem did actually with Tampa Bay.
This
got
year?
yeah.
Yeah, he's a fool.
And then he's fucked up. He's worse than me.
He's a fool.
He's in a worse predicament than me. Me and Malcolm blocking for
He's a damn fool.
Like, it just doesn't, no, you do not draft one ass team.
Nah, I did that and I said, out of all teams, you picked the Raiders, bro.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a diehard Raiders fan. Diehard. My father was a Raiders fan from before I was born. I used to watch the Raiders on TV, and I'm like, okay, I like the Raiders. And now I'm just like emotionally invested.